Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I hope you've had a good day or you're about to have a good day wherever you are in the world. It's great to be with you once again. It's another Thursday, so that's Unplugged Day. And woo, January 2022 has been a ride for me. I thought five weeks in January, but it just went like that. So has it been for you? Because it's been really good for us over here. I hope it's been good for you as well. Our January theme for Unplugged has been open for business, and I can tell you for sure, without a shred of doubt, that all our guests, bar none, they've all opened their eyes to different things, different aspects that we need to know and work at before we start working on ourselves and on our brands this year. Well, first, there was my coach and my sister, Pastor Bidemi McMurdy, who talked to us about what do you see. Then there was my friend, the profitability queen, Ekaito Moore herself, who took us through the roadmap to better business. And I hope you're beginning to have your roadmap to better business. And while we're still digesting these extremely delicious and nutritious meals, we're rounding up January already with with the end in mind. What's your end game? What's your end game? So, what's your end game is a conversation with Mrs. Inyang Sami-Orungbe. She's my friend, my cocoa for those who are ethic and those who understand the concept. Coco is the namesake, and I don't have many people who are called Inyang. That's my ethic name, you know, and it's a pleasure to have her. She's an all together experienced and skilled management consultant. And before I bring her on board, I would just give you this quick piece of advice. Go get a pen, get a book, and come sit down nearby and listen carefully. Take notes because this is going to be a masterclass. I'd like, before I'll bring her, and we're going to go on IG, so don't worry, we're going to do that. Last week we didn't do it too well, but we're going to do better this time. Fingers crossed. You know. So let me give you a very brief snippet about this quiet storm of a professional that you're about to meet now. While I bring her on board, I'll explain to, I'll just give you a little snippet of who she is. Inyang Sami-Orungbe has parlayed her qualifications in business administration, including an MBA in business management, and over 3 decades of work experience into running a highly successful consultancy firm. As the current managing partner of Averti Professional Managers, a firm of 3 professional women, Yang and her partners offer a range of services, including training, financial and tax advisory services, audit process and systems design and implementation. And within Averti, Yang herself works with growing businesses and larger organizations in the private and public sectors. Her core competencies are retirement planning, succession planning, business continuity, and personal financial planning. And we are talking with Inyang today about what is your end game. Inyang, my cocoa, welcome. Welcome very much. It's a pleasure.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, Coco.
And we are going
Great
to
to be here.
try and bring you on, thank you, bring you on Instagram.
Instagram. Okay.
Yes. Okay. So, guys, we're just giving you time to go get your books, get your um, get your pens, and just come sit down for 60 minutes of excitement. I tell you.
Okay. There you are.
Okay.
Okay. We're in.
Okay. Okay, so here we are.
Yes.
Yeah. This time is better than last time. Fantastic.
Yes.
We
Yes.
oh yes. We'll just keep getting better. So Coco, you're welcome.
Thank you.
And welcome Afyon, Wanchi, Feikemi, Esin, Uche. Thank you so much for joining us. Please tell everybody else that we are here. Share the link if you can, or tell everyone that we are here and they should just come join us. So, could you tell us a little bit about how you journeyed to this place where you're now the managing partner of a business solutions firm? Because that's how Averti positions itself.
Absolutely. Okay, so I retired from corporate life in I think that might be 2011 thereabouts, and I didn't even have this in mind at all, but and I had worked in the financial services space, doing mainly business development and marketing and sales. Stanbic IBTC, Crusader Sterling Pensions, AXA Mansard, And so when I retired, I actually thought I was going to go into gardening services because I'm a sucker for gardening. And I thought that was what I was going to do. But, God just, sometimes he just creeps up on you with all these ideas. And a gentleman that, I've known for a very long time, met me and felt that, listen, I mean, he was pretty passionate about the idea of an all-female, professional, services company. And what do we think? He had a few other ladies in mind. And one thing led to the other. We started meeting, having strategy sessions, and it turned out that between the four of us at that time, now we're three, what we had was going to deliver an amazing business solutions agency, such that it would be a one-stop shop for any business owner, and then of course for even bigger organizations. And that was how Averti Professional Managers was birthed. So it is a partnership of three amazing women.
Well, I'm so glad that you bust that myth. And I just have to ask it, how have these three accomplished women managed to keep your business afloat and still going for so long?
From the get-go, we knew exactly what we had been set up to do. We had strategy sessions. We took this really serious, We brought in a consultant who walked us through so many things, went and spoke with people that were in similar types of, businesses, running partnerships. We just needed to know what their experiences had been, so that by the time we drafted our partnership agreement, we were sure we had crossed every T and dotted every I. Because when we sat down to review it, the way it would work is that if I felt I didn't like something and I thought, oh, we should take it out. I mean, it could be me that would be the first person that would benefit or lose out on that sort of thing. So before we had any stakes, we had that partnership agreement well executed, and that has guided us. And I might add that also just having the spirit of God behind everything we do in our Verti Professional Managers has been a real big deal. And perhaps the maturity of women too. I don't know. I mean, people say women don't work well together. No, I think that's just a myth. It's been an amazing journey for the three of us.
I can imagine, and I know this is my own personal from knowing you and being an adjunct sister. I know that you also have a group of sisters that you don't joke with, and I mean, whether you guys
Oh,
like it or not, I'm an adjunct sister, so
I know.
so I've seen how women work together, stay together over time. So I'm encouraging the ladies on this call who will listen to this broadcast later and those who are listening now to you know just don't think that women don't work together. Men don't work together as well. There are many men who don't work together, but they don't make a big deal about it like we tend to make. Like they say, oh, she was looking at my shoes, she didn't like my bag. No, nobody's looking at your shoes. Truly, nobody's really looking at your shoes. Maybe you didn't deliver, or maybe I didn't deliver on what I had to. So
Yeah.
so that's out of the way. We've busted that myth. It's gone. It's gone.
Yeah.
So there's a friend of mine, and he's been a two-time guest on Unplugged. His name is
Okay.
Uche Uti, and he told me last October, when we had a very well made in Nigeria series, that excellence has no boundaries. And now I ask myself, does excellence have agenda? Not an agenda, agenda. Because I find that the initial tribe of Julia Jacks Consulting has been 99% female. And somebody has actually asked me if I work with men. Well, hey, I worked with men and for male clients a whole lot all through my 30 plus years of work. So, I mean, who do you think I've been working with all this time? What has been your experience in Averti professional managers? I mean, you're three females to the power of three, so have you broken that gender ceiling and how did you do it?
Okay, so I'll just say this here that yes, we are a partnership of three women, but when we do business, as a matter of fact, we tell ourselves that we enter every meeting room as three professionals, full stop. To be honest, I mean, nothing to do with the agenda. So it's not because we are women, it's not because, we are older women, whatever it is, nothing about the gender. I think that being women is just maybe an added advantage to the extent that um, I may be partial, but I think that women have um, that eye for excellence. I mean, like I said, I may be partial, but in this business, one of the things we have stressed very, very highly is the fact that every time we step out, we are putting our best foot forward. And honestly, it has paid off. There are businesses we walked away from because the clients felt it didn't matter. I mean, just do it. And of course, when it comes to that kind of client, it also means that it's not about the value you're bringing to the table. It's just about, okay, maybe we'll pay you something, something comes back to us. Those ones, we don't do that. We are very ethical in the way we operate with our clients. So when discussions start getting a bit twisted and all that, we just quietly withdraw. Because at the end of the day, whether it's the big companies or the small companies or medium ones, we put our best foot forward. And I can tell you that we are beginning to reap the benefits of it. That people hear about us and they're saying okay, I mean, how did you hear about us? Oh, somebody told us that you do this and you do it excellently well. I mean, and for me, that's the best feedback I can get.
That's a great testimonial. That's a great testimonial. Um, wow, but I think it's a very real thing. Maybe not so much in Lagos as it is outside Lagos where we are, but now we live in a borderless world thanks to technology. So
Yes.
have access to a much wider audience. You know. So our topic today is what's your end game, and one of my favorite things to do. I mean, I've said it before. My sister hates it. I like reading books from the end. I love reading books from the end, and it doesn't spoil the story for me at all. I just like, and then I go back and figure out. So how did it come to be? And as I'm reading, I'm like, no, that end cannot be the right thing. But I know that in business thinking, when you're doing a strategy for business and planning,
Yeah.
it helps to
Yeah.
think about the end. It helps
Yeah.
to think about how will you how will all of this end up. So, in your
Yeah.
professional opinion and based on your experience with growing mid-sized and large businesses, do founders, business owners typically start with the end in mind? And if they don't, how can one calibrate?
Truthfully, typically no, especially in Nigeria, and that's just the truth. Um, the way businesses start in Nigeria, especially the SMEs, for whatever reason, maybe you need money, you just stumbled on this, so you just start, 'cause- and people around you to do encourage you that you just start anyhow, just start, you know. But if you just start 1, 2, 3, 4 years, um, what are you doing? You know, what is there a structure to this thing you are doing? You are earning money, and for some people, it's just money in their back pockets. You are taking decisions based on what you don't have financials, you know, you don't have audited accounts, you're not even bookkeeping at all. You don't keep your books. So you're not able to how do I put it? You can't know how well you're doing financially. Yes, money may be coming in, but you don't know if you're making a profit. And what's the point of a business if you're not making profit? I mean, if you are just, executing or running a hobby, it's fine. And sadly, that happens a lot with women, exempted. So the thing is, so you just start. But what we usually advise is that when you start with the end in mind, because it then informs a lot of things you do. Why do Nigerian businesses just fade, with the exit of the owner? And that's because the person had no plan in place. And then some people too, okay, 25 years into business, and now they're thinking of retiring, and then this is panic mode now because oh, okay, what I'll give you a typical example. We had a client, a professional, business owner. He 25 celebrated 25 years of being in this business. For him, there was some comfort that one of his children had trained in that profession that he was running. So he assumed, the key word there being assumed. I mean, you hadn't had any conversation with this, daughter of yours about taking over your business, coming in to start learning the ropes and all that. So 25 years on, you are shocked that she's not interested in coming to run your business. Same thing I have. We have a furniture business owner. She's equally shocked. Okay, so right now she's in her 30 something years of running this business. She's not happy, she's tired, but she doesn't know how to exit without the business dying. And that's because when we start, we don't have the end in mind. Because if we have the end in mind, it would inform a lot of things we put in place, the structure, ensuring functional and operational excellence in place, your accounting and all that. How are you financing the business so that the business does not die? Do you just go out and take a loan because you need it? Can the business pay this loan back in a healthy way? So all those things are not there. And that is why, we run into problems further down the line. So truth is, we never think of the end when we start, most of the time.
Well, I know there's some people who are just starting off businesses or who have started the businesses and they're online right now. So is there any way they can recalibrate? Because they're
Absolutely. I
probably
mean,
looking at you and just saying, I can't afford her, you know.
no, 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 no. You can afford me. Let me just throw that in there. We can always have that conversation. But so as business owners, you have your own area of competence, what you set up your business to do. So don't always think that, oh, I mean, yes, I need, an accountant. I can't afford one. I need an auditor. I can't afford one. Oh, I need a consultant to come and walk me through this thing. I can't afford one. But you can't do it yourself. So you do need help, and you must always have it at the back of your mind that in areas that you don't have the competence, you would pay people that have the competence to come and help you, because if you don't start on time, you'll be working very hard, but at the end of the day you have nothing very impressive to show for it, and you work yourself to the bone. Sometimes there are easier ways to the way you've been working and you never realized. So I think that is just that myth that SME owners have, that I can't afford a consultant, I can't afford an auditor. You have to accommodate it in your business plan. That these are the sort of expense, just the same way you're paying your staff salaries. You do have to accommodate those expenses where you need to bring in somebody to help you structure your business and put that structure in place, help you map your processes, because you need policies, you need procedures, you need to document them. You have to put controls in place to ensure there are no frauds. You may not know how. So that's where your consultant comes in and helps you. And a consultant is not expensive. I mean, never mind the me, never mind that name, and the if if the business is not so big, then there isn't even that much to do, to help you kickstart and run. Do you get? Usually as a business, grows, the transactions are much more, and so of course there's a lot more for the consultant to do now. So when you start early, that's the best time to bring in somebody to help you, hold your hand to, so that you are kicking off on a very good footing, so that, going forward, you then now are tweaking things here and there. And that consultant can be with you, every step along the way. But what they are now doing for you is so sort of, I mean, like we have clients, for example, that to ensure that when audit time comes, they are not in dire straits, their books are in messes and that. So we do something we call spot checks for you. So we come in every quarter, help you look at your books and all that, correct whatever needs to be corrected. So that at the end of the year, when your auditor comes, it's a breeze. But sometimes, I mean, that could be between maybe 50,000 and 150,000 every quarter. Surely you should be able to afford that, to ensure that you are building your business, for legacy. Because I think that's the problem. We don't have that at the
Yeah.
back of our minds. We're not building the business for legacy, and we should. It's a lot of hard work we are putting into this. So why should it just fade off and die after we are gone? God forbid.
I think the key word or the key phrase there, and I'm going to borrow it. I'm telling you upfront, building for legacy. I like to sound intelligent, so I like intelligent friends. So, yeah, building for legacy and building or just starting something that makes the difference. That would make you know what you want to do or what you'd rather not do. I'll tell you
Yes.
something. In over the holidays. Okay, I don't. I'm wondering whether I should share this with the world. Okay, let's put it out there. I'm an ethnic woman. I know how to cook, but the kitchen is not my favorite place. I'd rather be in my study with all these books behind me, you know. So I have this group of young women who understand what I like, and over Christmas they went on vacation. I'm not saying they shouldn't go on break, but why should the business stop just because you have to go on break? You part of what you do is business continuity. How can growing businesses ensure that there's continuity? Because the clients will always be there, and maybe in the 2 weeks, 3 weeks you took off to rest and refresh and come back, better than ever. Maybe somebody else took your place in my life, and definitely took the money that could have come to you. So how can growing businesses handle this?
Okay, like I said, once you have your structures in place and in your recruitment, it should be very clear what role everybody is playing. You know, so if all those things are in place, your organogram is well understood. So there's no duplication of roles. There's understanding of the hierarchy. Communication is very clear and not jumbled up along the way. You should design it in such a way that you can remove yourself. Somebody else is in charge and running that business. How does that happen? When it's very clear to everybody what they are there to do. So, I mean, there's something we do for some businesses where we help them, having, help you structure your business, your bookkeeping, all that. We then look at your function and operations, how is that working? And help you put standard operating manuals in place. I mean, this is like an idiot's guide. I mean, if a new person came in to play that role, it's very clear to him what he's doing from the get-go. I mean, this is how we do things. It's not according to how you feel. It's not even according to how your supervisor tells you. Because I mean, that way things get, diluted down the line. But your SOP manuals clearly, say how we are doing this and why we are doing it. So that when you step away, and things happen, your staff can take decisions by themselves. They're not in doubt as what to do. But again, of course, technology is there, so you can be reached anywhere now. But the business, and I think business owners too should test their businesses from time to time, where you just withdraw for a while and see how they cope. Of course, you tell them you're a phone call away, but if your SOPs are there, your bookkeeping is well understood by the person playing that role, and the controls are in place. Because again, this is something that a lot of businesses suffer, where there are a lot of leakages because the controls are not in place. But where controls are in place and all the necessary taps are locked, nobody, of course, we are human. People, if somebody is fraudulent or, funny like that, they would always, try to, but the damage cannot be so much because
Too
those
much.
controls are in place. In terms of who is authorized to sign what, how much can this person sign, how do, so, yeah, so like that. And things have to go through some certain process before authorization comes. So have we ticked off those boxes? So that way your staff are very clear on how the business is running. It's not according to what you're saying, according to what the SOPs tell them. And with that in place, I think you're good to go.
This building for legacy is such an important thing. And I think that the way I can sum it up in a very how do I call it, in my in my not so elegant way is like, if you want to be an eagle, stop flying with turkeys. That's the
Yeah,
truth.
yeah,
There have to be some people that you will have as consultants. When people ask you who's your consultant, they mention certain names. It has an impact on your brand. It does. Now, even if this person is consulting for you for a peppercorn fee, for real, like almost peanuts, really, that person is on your books as a consultant, and the value you get is immense.
yeah,
So it
yeah,
depends on who you want to be. A turkey is a great bird, so is an eagle. You can choose who you want to be. You really can choose who you want to be, and it will affect every decision you take. You know,
yeah,
but this thing about you lock the door. Okay, I'm just that kind of person. I don't even lock anywhere in my house. So if you really wanted to come and raid me, you know, feel free. And the same thing. I work with staff. I'm not hiding things and say, "Oh, no, 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 you can't know this part of me," because what happens when I'm not there?
yeah,
You know, things have to. You may not tell them everything, but you tell them enough so that they can get things done. Can
yeah.
get things done.
And honestly, if your controls are in place, then they cannot step out of line, even if they wanted to. And that is the essence of controls. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Let me ask you briefly about succession planning. Hmm. It sounds like sometimes succession planning to us. I hope I'm not stepping on toes, but I'm sure I am. But please, it comes from a good place. I want you to succeed. I want all the businesses here to succeed. Sometimes succession planning just sounds like maybe I'll just put my spouse or my child in place.
Mm,
You know,
mm,
we see it everywhere. We see it in churches. We see it in businesses. We see it in big businesses, small businesses. You've seen it, you know. And if they don't put the child in place, it's like, oh, this is my godson, this is my mentee. So I put my person who may not necessarily be the best person. What is the
yeah.
best practice on succession planning?
Oh, well, first is to identify that that time would come when you have to step out of your business. So, what should be your best bet, right? Of course, the first option for anybody is to transfer the business to an heir. That could be your child, a nephew, and all that.
Yes.
I feel that, just from reading and watching movies, Italians amazing at this, the Jews are very good at this. But I don't know. I mean, in Nigeria, we're just everybody, right? So we feel that, oh, it has to be my child, it has to be my child. But honestly, your child may not be interested in the business. So what are your options? And you should know upfront. And you cannot make that assumption, like I said earlier on, that, oh, when the time comes, you will hand over the business to your child. You have to have a conversation with that child. So for some people, that conversation then now brings about the child every holiday time they're coming to work within the organization. It's not that they now graduate from Harvard and daddy just comes and puts them on the board of directors and they don't know anything, because you have to start from the shop floor and work your way up so you understand the business. Any parent that wants to go down that route and has the consent of the child, I mean, that is really the ultimate for a business person, that, oh, your child is going to take over this business. But you bring them in pretty early. Every holiday they are working there, they understand, the way you do things. I had the, how do I put it, benefit of listening to a gentleman once. And I mean, I can say this because the story is out there on the internet, the GIG group. And I thought it was the most amazing story I've
Truly.
ever heard, because, I mean, apparently, even though the founder died suddenly, but because he had been grooming this young man, bringing him in every holiday, attending meetings, taking him along for meetings. I mean, this chap, even though he was very young, he was still in uni when the father died. But look at GIG now, you know.
Yeah.
That's because he had a good understanding of the business. So don't just bring your child in and put him or her on the board, or gas child, this and that. You don't know anything about the business. So that's where to start. So you groom the child and all that. So after a while, the child is sort of, I mean, he owns it. This is our business, because that ownership has to be there. But perhaps you don't have that fortune of maybe having a child or any family member even to do that. You can actually sell the business to a business partner, somebody that you have been working with, that knows the worth of your business and the value. You can decide to sell, and then maybe you retain some shares for yourself, so that takes care of you, in your retirement. Or you may have some key employee or employees, that you feel you can hand the business over to. So, in the way that you are grooming them within the organization, it is clear that they are on a different path, because you are grooming them as successors of that business. So you pour a lot into them, and they know you've had conversation, you keep having conversations with them, and you expose them, to what, and it doesn't even matter how junior they are, how young they are. My former boss, at Peter side, would gladly tell the story that when we were in Stanbic, I mean, when I was in Stanbic, if a GM or AGM, for example, left, and the next person to that AGM was a manager, nobody's going to be employed to fill the AGM shoes. The manager has to step up. And so, because that was the type of, grooming that we got. I mean, you must never be afraid to talk to anybody, the confidence level, your knowledge of the business. So it was training round the clock every day of work. So the employee aspect is there. You could decide, to then transfer or sell the business to a key employee, or it could be a total outside buyer. But the common thread in most of this is that, first and foremost, because by the time you now want to value the business, if you have the value, but if you have not put structures in place to enable a proper business valuation, then it's going to be a problem. What are you worth, and who determines what you're worth? Because you have to do a business valuation, and the
Because it,
valuation would include, yeah, go ahead, sorry.
yeah. No, I was going to say, otherwise it now gets emotional and you say, I've done 40 years here, I've done this, I've done that. And you can't take that to the
No,
bank. That's not
no,
bankable.
no, no. No, you can't take that. In as much as there's still the aspect of intellectual property, especially
Happy to
for
hear.
people that have invented this or services. Because if I have run this business first with an experience of about 30 years, I've thrown in like 10 more years into this business, I'm walking away. Oh, surely I'm walking away with a lot. So I should be able to value that intellectual property that I'm going away with, that when I'm removed from the equation, some knowledge and a lot of skills go with me. So that has to be valued. It can be pretty subjective, but it has to be valued, and that would constitute intellect. So many things, and you cannot be in debt at this time, So how are you managing, your debt portfolio? I mean, are you borrowing money for the business? Are you able to pay back? There's so many things that go into it. Yeah.
If I'd like to pause now and just see, are there any questions?
Okay.
Does anybody want to find out something, ask something? I have many questions. I have many questions. I can talk for Africa. You all know. You all need to send me to the Talking Olympics soon. Eh? But if you have questions, please share them. Share them here. Fakemi, I hope you were able to come back in. I really hope so. You know. Yes, Yang is the current managing partner with Averti Professional Managers, and you can find them on IG at Averti. Let me just put this up here. Okay, you can find them on IG and Facebook and LinkedIn and
Yeah.
Twitter at Averti Professional Managers, and
Yeah.
Ian
At 30
herself
p.m.
at
Yeah.
30 p.m. Yes. Yes. And Inyang herself can be found on LinkedIn, Facebook, and IG. IG is I Sami-Orungbe. LinkedIn and Facebook is Inyang Sami-Orungbe. Okay, did I tell you guys that we Iyans are such smart people? Sorry.
You're partial.
I am. You know. So, well, no questions yet. So we'll press on. You know, in 2019, the pandemic hit the world in a massive way,
Yeah.
and many business professionals talked at length about disruptions, business continuity, and none of us knew that something that had purportedly started somewhere in China that none of us had ever known about in the first place, would have such a would resound on globally, you know. So now we've kind of grown accustomed to this particular disruption. Hmm. What are the garden variety everyday things that can cause disruptions in our lives? I mean, we know the big ones, and many businesses died. Many businesses died. I don't know if they have recovered, but many businesses died. What are the garden variety things that can cause disruptions in our lives and our businesses? And how can we, as best as possible, fireproof our businesses against disruption? I know you've talked about SOPs, etc., but maybe we need to get a little gritty and see what are
Yeah.
the kinds of disruptions for, especially for small businesses, because many of the people that are unplugged and that are our clients on Julia Jacks Consulting run small businesses. So it might not be a pandemic that disrupts them or a tsunami.
Um, for sure, you must always plan forward. You can't be working with, your current, standards and situations. I mean, there must always be that aspect of, in the event that this happens, what do we do? In the event that this happens, if you're a manufacturer, for example, and God forbid you have a fire disaster, are you insured? And when it
Okay.
comes to insurance, people, oh, I mean, no, when the time comes, you'll be paying premium. When the time comes, they won't pay you your claims and all that. Not true. Not true. It's a highly consolidated industry, the insurance industry. So, regardless of who you are insuring with, you will get your claims. As a matter of fact, now, I mean, every insurance company is trying to, outperform each other in terms of Oh, I mean, when people send in for claims, I mean, are you paying within 24 hours, 48 hours, and things like that? Yes. So you can't run a business without insuring your assets, because if, God forbid, something happens and you lose them, how are you able to pick up the pieces and move forward? I mean, you go to the bank for a loan, not the ideal thing. So insurance is a very critical aspect in running a business. Also, I mean, technology wise, how have you embraced technology in the way you run your business? I mean, during the lockdown, for example, and we saw that play out for so many businesses and churches. Because I mean, I laughed that, oh, I mean, some people were just not left in the lurch, especially like with their churches, because they were not online. And that's what happens when you don't plan forward, right? So in for us, I mean, it was a breeze, because I mean, even before the lockdown, we had already activated our work from home arrangement where, everybody had access to their laptops, to this. So now, I mean, if
Sorry, Coco,
something
I'm
happens,
going to invite you again. I'm sorry.
oh, sorry.
Um, I think I waved to people. I suddenly realized that there's a whole set of your fans on 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 IG. So I stopped and waved to them, and so please join again. I'm so sorry.
I've joined, so I think that's fine. Yeah.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Okay, excellent. So yeah, I mean, how are you embracing technology in the way you work?
Yes.
Your documents, are they uploaded on the iCloud? And when people say this thing, that especially for the mature business owner, I mean, they're so. I mean, all of a sudden when you're talking, they have that blank glaze. They're not. They can't hear you anymore because you've now entered. It's a rain that is because as far as they're concerned, all those technologies, it's for the young people. No, it's for every business owner. We can't
Oh
shy
yeah.
away from it. We can't. So we have to embrace all these things, and the tools are there. If you don't have an understanding, then seek to get, because if, for example, you cannot come to the office, your business should not be grounded. You should be able to work from home. Your staff, do they have laptops? If they don't have laptops, are they able to work from their phones? Not the ideal, but I mean, laptops are more ideal. If you have physical factories and things like that, what should you then do? I mean, what sort of downtime do you think you can accommodate if there's a fire disaster or a flood disaster? You know, all those things should be in your business continuity plan, and a consultant will walk you through that with the understanding of your specific business, so that it will be part of what you have documented, that if so and so happen, this is how you can bounce back. So how long? I mean, you don't want to be out of circulation for say more than 48 hours. How are you going to do it? So all those plans should be very well in place and documented and understood by everybody in the organization. And you may not even need a consultant. Do you understand? I mean, you're running a small business, maybe there are just five of you, or something happens. How can we link up? Okay, for a start, there's WhatsApp. I mean, you can have
Yes.
meetings on WhatsApp. I mean, it's as simple as that. I mean, it doesn't have to be all highfalutin all the time. You can have meetings on, WhatsApp. I mean, what do we do? Make your reports. Set up a WhatsApp group. Everybody posts their reports there at the end of the day, and then you must have ways of monitoring deliverables. And you have to communicate to the staff, what do you expect of them by the end of the day. It's not just a blanket thing, so that at the end of the day, oh, these are my deliverables by 4 p.m. This has to be in the back. So you upload it to iCloud, your supervisor can download it and look at it, make comments, send back. I mean, it's not such rocket science. Because when we keep saying iClouds, I mean, all of a sudden, I mean, we can start getting
We
a
kind
bit
of
of it.
freeze.
Maybe a bit of it. Okay, but WhatsApp. Do you understand? Can we just start with
Yes.
WhatsApp? Yeah. Can we be meeting there? Can we, ask our questions there, send our reports there, and all that. So yeah, and you must have meetings with the staff to let them know in the event of any problem, this is what you should do. You have to be specific and
Yes.
quite intentional about this because it's not these people I don't even know. Yes, my staff, I don't know what they are doing when they are at home. But what do you mean? What did you give them to do?
To
And
do.
if at the, yes, if at the end of the day they are able to deliver, what do you care what they are doing? I think some people also have that, and it's our mentality, that unless you come to a physical place, I want walking, to show how serious you are. But some people are working from home now, and the offices don't plan on reopening. So
Absolutely.
yeah, they
Yeah.
don't plan on reopening. So what? I mean, my all my three children are doing serious work at home. Zero, zero, zero physical office attendance. Zero. And
Coco, I
of
tell
course,
you, sometimes I start work at 3 o'clock in the
yeah,
morning because I'm working with somebody on another time zone,
that's
you know?
right.
Yeah. So my
Yeah.
office becomes my bedroom and or my study or whatever. And then that's where I have to start work. That's the future of work. Lara has made
Yeah.
another important comment. I think just
Yeah,
to
yeah.
highlight
This
that, yes.
yeah, this issue of
But I think
technology.
it's men as well. It's men as well. Yeah, there's a certain age that we get to, and we just say, "Oh no, come and open this computer for me." I think, luckily for me, I have a teenager who just tells me, "Oh, I put TikTok on." I said, "I don't want TikTok." She said, "Well, just look at it. I put this for you. Just look at it."
No, no.
And I mean, she's
Oh,
introduced me
that's
to
true.
reels and all kinds of things, and then yes,
Yeah. Yeah, because we do if you don't embrace technology, if you don't embrace social media, you would be a dinosaur in the field. You'll be a dinosaur, people will just look at you and wonder what do you have to offer. She doesn't even understand what we are doing. And then when you have Gen Zs as
yes,
staff, you have to deal with them, you have to relate to them, you have to understand their minds because they're not like us. So you have to meet with them. And I don't even have a problem with that because, I mean, you are 22, Abi, I can talk that talk. You are 38, millennial, I can talk. No, because you have to make yourself that way so that you are versatile. I mean, and who doesn't like a fly mom? I mean, my children won't tell me, but their friends think I'm quite a fly mom. I wear it with great pride, you know, but it really helps in our
that's
businesses
how
when
that's
we
how we roll. That's how we roll.
that's how we
You
roll,
know,
yes. And we
that's
do
how we
we do
roll.
have to. No, otherwise we'll be dinosaurs, and then the door is locked for you on so many aspects. And so how much can you do without technology, without social media, and you have to embrace technology very speedily if we are not there
Yes,
yet. And
yes,
honestly, and it's not rocket science, and that is in the mind. Because if just get somebody to come and spend a day with you, show you a lot of things and all that, and then you now start, you know, I mean, you goof sometimes, and it's okay. But once you have made a mistake once, then you know how not to do that thing a second time, and it just keeps getting better. But we can't shy away from technology because in business now, that is where business is done. That is where business is done. If and also when the time comes and we are looking for investors, you can't be in that dinosaur space if you are looking for investors because they need to see that, oh, I mean, you've built this business up to this point. When it comes to this, most of your things are online. This is the way you've embraced technology to deploy this, deploy that service. It makes it easier for them. It's a lot of comfort, not just that your financials are strong, but in terms of the way you are running your business, it's global standards. So that's something we should think about.
I mean, I told someone the other day. I said, my first line, when I get to know anything, I Google it. I Google it. I just go on Google. I go online. I check you out. I check out your digital footprint. I go on your Facebook page, your whatever your Twitter. I
Yes.
find you. I look for you.
Yeah.
So you might tell me I am extremely focused and religious, then next thing you put in a video that, and then like, okay, I can see, I see you, I see you. I see you.
As a matter of fact, in my business, when people come in for interviews, one of the things I want to know from you is, okay, did you know the name of the company before you came? Oh yes, ma. Okay, so what do you think of our website? I haven't been to your website. Oh, really? Have you been to social media handles? What are they? Have you been to Facebook? What they have not. So and immediately I'm just on guard because I don't see you as a good fit. I
No,
don't see you
the
as a good fit
interview is over.
already.
The
For me, it's
interview is
honestly for me
over.
it's over because
It's
no,
over.
no,
It's
yeah,
over.
yeah,
So, Coco, in your own,
yes.
sorry, let me be formal. Ian, in your own right, apart from other things you do, you are a skilled retirement planner.
Yeah.
What does a retirement planner do?
A retirement planner one draws our attention to the fact that this hustle will one day have to slow down. This hustle will one day end. And when that time comes, what will we be doing in our AM to our PM? So the best for me is walking somebody through a pre-retirement planning stage. By the time you're already in retirement, it's almost too late to be having some sort of conversations. So ideally, way before you get to that place, what are you looking at? What is your realistic picture of your life in retirement? Because that's what you want. So which means that even from now, that's you should be working with that picture in mind, with the plan of delivering it. A lot of it, quite frankly, has to do with finances. Because and you and I talked about this boat cruises and all that. So what's going
Oh
to deliver
yes,
the
jazz cruise. Oh yeah. Oh
yeah.
yeah.
What's going to deliver them? So a lot of it has to do with that. And there's a whole gamut of things to consider. And the farther the retirement is away, the better it is for you because then you have the time to plan. Young people, I don't even know how to say this, but I think I don't blame them. That word retirement, once you mention that word, there's just because I remember telling my son once that would you be open to, sort of listen to a retirement planning session? He said, why? I said, because you
For what?
retire one day. And it's like, but I'm not thinking of that now. But actually, he should. You should be thinking of that because when you start planning for your retirement very early in your career or in your business, sometimes there are mistakes that are made. And the farther the retirement is away from you, the better you are off because there's the opportunity to course correct. A friend of mine told me once that she started her retirement planning at 27. And I thought, what? Did you know what you were doing? She said,
Wow.
yes, I knew what I was doing. She said she knew what she was doing when she was schooling in the UK. Somebody had, given her the opportunity to listen to that kind of thing, and she thought, wow. Then, as soon as I kickstart my career, practically, that's what I should do. And she said, Young, it has helped me because somewhere along the line, I lost a lot of money. She invested, in a movie. She said the money went down the drain. But this happened when she was in her 40s and she knew she had the time, to fix the problem. So yes, because when we talk about retirement, there's a lot that has to do with finances, and that's a whole different thing because that on its own is some kind of vector because it's the type of retirement you want that you should also be planning for. But there are some other tips, that you need to realize, that first, if you are retiring at say 60, 65, are you just okay? The money part is fine, you're good. Are you just going to be waking up to nothing? What will you be doing from AM to PM? because the mind aspect is really, really important, in retirement, where, you should wake up with a sense of purpose to be doing something. And it doesn't matter that that thing is not really bringing in some amazing money, but is driving your passion, is or fueling your passion, so to speak. It's giving you something to hope for tomorrow. And I like the idea of that because I've spoken to retirees that are in that space. They've started something, some hobby they had in the past, and they've now used it on social media, and they are unstoppable now. So that there you go. That's something to wake up and say, okay, fine, they are good in the bank, but this is
Yeah.
what is fueling their day-to-day lives, and they're having an amazing time. What are some people didn't get good counsel on some things to do before they retired? Oh, that loan that you were paying off, perhaps it would have been better to pay it off way before retirement. So you're not using your retirement funds to pay off, debts. As much as possible, mortgages, car loans, just downsize most of it as much as you can, because your retirement funds should not be servicing any loan. Your retirement funds is for your upkeep, for your to keep you in good health, fuel your passions, your vacations, and all that. Yes, maybe you want to help a child out from time to time. If you can, yes, but it's not a must. You should be thinking of yourself. Do people understand the Pension Reform Act? A lot of people apparently don't. I didn't realize this until we started doing this. So people just came to this. Their employers deduct money. They apparently they now they're telling me that, apparently they also take my money. I didn't even know. And then so they didn't know that this is not like the defined benefit scheme that was in the past, where there was just money on paper. When you are in employment, you have a retirement savings account in your name. A lot of people don't know this. Nobody can tamper with it. Your employer is obligated to put money at the end of the month, deduct from your salary, and put same. If you change work to another office, your account goes with you. So by the time you retire, there's something for you to access. And that was the heart of the Pension Reform Act. That, it's been a terrible past we've had in that space. So now when you retire, you can access from the get-go at least 25% of what you have. People say, oh, can't they just give me all my money? No, they can't, because what do you want to do so that you can be sure? Like I said, the heart of the act is to ensure that till you die. Okay, people don't like even that word. They say, it's not my portion. Okay, sorry, you're not going to be in this world forever. You know that. So, and then when you say, oh, how long do you want to live
Ever-
after you've retired? People say, oh, maybe 90, maybe, but
Whose
those days,
portion
85.
is it?
Exactly. But imagine if you retire at 60 and you are trusting God that you're going to be alive till say 90. That is 30 long years. So what will you be doing with it other than waking up, going to buy newspaper, buy Vanguard, come back, read Vanguard for the men, DSTV. Oh, then the women will say, oh, I'll be doing Omugo. And I say Omugo is not a retirement plan.
It is not.
Omugo is not a
It is
retirement
not.
plan. It's not. Don't do that to yourself. Your children can't even afford to have you with them for so long. They can't take care of you. They're just trying to build their life. So you must have a plan for yourself. And the idea is that somebody needs to walk you through and draw your attentions to all the things you might not have thought of. We build palatial homes, some of us. Each child must have a room to themselves and all that. Okay, so now the children have gone. From the time they went into university, they are not coming back. Just know that. My
No,
children, I
no.
think, yeah, perhaps if they come, maybe if you are extremely blessed, maybe they'll be around for 3 weeks at a time. So is that what that one room? You must be kidding me. So sell the house, for crying out loud, and go and buy a smaller place. where it's even better in your old age, you can, if you're on the same floor, because I've told my husband that wherever it is we are moving to, I don't want any stairs case. I can't climb or come
Me too.
downstairs. I want everything on the same level, you know. So, I mean, and that is less expensive. So, all those things, you have to work consciously with those things in mind, because sometimes, no matter how we talk about retirement, it still makes some people unawares, and they're living in this huge house. What are you doing in this big house? What are you doing? Oh, someone is asking, what's omugwo? Omugwo is
Omugo,
something that
yeah.
Igbo people do. That when a woman has a child, her mom moves in with her to help her, show her the ropes of how to look after the baby, and also to look after her as well. A lot of other cultures in Nigeria have sort of adopted it. Maybe they're not calling it that, but that's the general idea. And some women have now decided to make it an assignment that they're going to
Yes.
be doing in their old age. Nobody gave them that assignment. So we must work with
Oh,
that in mind.
hi, Uncle Sammy. We see you. Thank you for hearing us. Thank you for joining. I
So,
love
so
it
the,
when our husbands support us. It's fantastic
yes,
because at the end of the day, empty nests. I mean, it's just the two of you.
yes.
You know.
Yes, because that's another thing you also have to discuss where you have a spouse, what was it? What are the synergies between both of you? I mean, you're moving into a smaller place, you're going to be in each other's faces and all that. Have you built a relationship that can then, sustain you through that time? So yeah, honestly, there's so many aspects of retirement. There's the emotional part, the financial part, psychological part, and
The,
just pure wisdom part of it.
the health,
Sometimes
the health part of it.
the help, because it is usually when you have limited funds that you then now need a lot for your health. So how have you planned for that? I mean, sometimes just enrolling in an HMO is at least one
Yes.
aspect of it, that in the event of anything, at least there's somewhere you can go to get immediate, health assistance or whatever. Where you can afford it, you go for the more premium, options that really cover a lot. And that should be in your financial plan as well. Because those are the things that you need to recognize you're going to be doing every year. So the funds you have, can they cover for the expenses that you,
Expenses.
yes, and because that budget is a must for every person that is going to retire. A few years to that time, start doing it and look at how everything is panning out. So perhaps if the fund that you're going to come into will not sustain what you see as your must do expenses, then it's time to look at augmenting those funds.
That income. Yes. Yeah. Well, Coco, thank you so much. We are at the top of
Oh,
the hour. It's been really great. Well, actually, we're about 3 minutes past. But I always ask my guests this: can you tell us and our guests four things that we must? Oh, okay. There's a very interesting comment here. Let me just share it. The Omugo. Um, this is from my brother. He's in England, and he says, "Yeah, they call it Bank of Mom and Dad. I think it's more like Bank of the Children. Yeah, the Bank of the Children, and over there the Bank of the Mom and Dad. So that's interesting. Yeah, every culture has its own way.
yes. Okay, are we frozen? Hi, Julia, are we frozen?
Okay. Okay.
Okay, you're coming back in.
Okay. We're back. Yeah, we're back in. We're back in
Yeah.
now. Yeah. The internet dropped for a second.
Yes, I saw
So
that.
I would just like to ask 3 or 4 things that business owners, small, medium, whatever size, could do to have, I mean, think about the end game.
Okay, number one, and I think these are questions I'm going to ask. It's not things you should do.
Okay.
Questions I need to ask you. Um, have your finances? I mean, do you have? Are you keeping your books? How are you able to take business decisions if you're not doing that? Because your books have to be well kept. So, do you have somebody that is helping you do that? If you don't, you need to very urgently do that. You need to structure your business. Like I said, your operational excellence is based on, all the things that you have in place, policies, procedures, controls, documenting everything, having your standard operating manuals in place, regardless of the size of your business. Because what those things do, they help to build consistency, and they create an order so that no process is tied to an individual. So that way you too are a bit freed up to go look for the business and do other more strategic things. And then you have to be very mindful of the quality of people you have. Because if at the end of the day you need to hand over the business, to the people coming after you to run it so that you also then maybe will be enjoying some profit sharing. You need to be very, very discerning and intentional about the quality of people that you have. You need to train them so that they are very well groomed and they're able to carry the business. And as I don't even know that I want to hear it, but you have to embrace technology. Now, I can't even subsume technology under the idea of, oh, just make sure your structure. You have to embrace technology. Technology is a must. Yes.
Thank you so very much, Coco. Thank you. This has been wonderful. Um, I've learned a lot, and I'm definitely coming to you this year without a shadow of doubt. Yeah, I don't see it as an expense. I see it as a value that will
Yeah.
enhance my business because
It's an investment in your business.
I do not plan to stay small. That's not me. I don't think I was made to be small. That's not it. What was that brilliant word you gave us? Building for legacy. Yeah. I'm building for legacy, fully aware that my daughter wants to be a fashionista, so she may not be interested in my business. So I'm building for legacy. You know. So thank you very much. Thank you everyone who joined us on Instagram. I think the
Thank
video
you.
has paused, but I saw like 7, 8 people at one time. Thank you very much for joining, and for everyone who's been here today. Thank you, and Coco, thank you so much. You've rounded
Thank
up
you,
our
Coco.
Open for Business month very, very
Thank
well.
you. It's
Thank
been
you.
an
Really
honor.
appreciate it. Thank you very much. I
All
shall be
right.
coming back. I, I have been
Thank
I have
you.
been I have been instructed that you should come back. So
I'm always here.
thank you.
It will always be a pleasure. Thank you, Coco.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
So guys, next week we are going to move on to another theme, which will be the not-for-profits. We haven't really touched that area of business yet, but we will touch it next week. Sorry, from next week, yes. So we're going to that business of the not-for-profits. We're going to investigate it thoroughly from different angles. So stay tuned, and we'll see you. So the questions are very easily: are you keeping your books properly? Do you have standard policies, procedures that will help you? Are you mindful of the kind of people that you bring into your business, and are you embracing technology? You will answer the questions. Okay? See you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.